Welcome back to another episode of Punch Drunk Nerd. We are back for another Punch Drunk Mini. We are in a whole set of Punch Drunk Mini episodes. But before I move on, it's me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez
and Deadpool.
And yes, I'm mentioning Punch Drunk Minis. Usually we have long ass episodes that go from 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, forever. But this week, for these next 3 weeks, we're having minis because I'm getting married. Specifically, I'm getting married tomorrow. This episode is released Friday, and then I'm getting married the next day. So we thought, what a fun idea would it be to talk about wedding movies. Also, I'm gonna be super busy. I'm gonna be at my honeymoon, so we're kind of pre-filming all these. So that's where they're all kind of mini-sized. So no news, no what we're into, just wedding talk. And Ed, this was Sarah's idea. Like your Sarah, not my Sarah. Your Sarah's idea.
My Sarah.
Yeah. We're two Sarahs. She recommended this, and I thought this is a great idea. Let's do this instead.
It was fun, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. Well, yeah. We've all seen a movie that at least has a wedding.
Honestly, a lot more than I expected. I did a Google search, and I was like, "Damn, it keeps going and going."
I started making a list, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like
this is a lot."
And there are some obscure ones that you could dig that still technically count. So we were talking about our favorite wedding movies, where the central focus is a wedding, but also favorite wedding scenes where the wedding just takes part of a bigger story. So, who wants to kick off with one or two favorites?
I really don't want.
How about we get an obvious one out the way?
Oh, I'm ready. I've got an obvious one.
I bet maybe it's the same one. Miguel, say it at the same time as me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The Godfather.
Lots of big wedding scenes. Didn't even have Godfather down, but that's actually a great one. I'd love to start on that one, Ed.
Yeah, the next the first 30 minutes of that movie is a wedding, and it sets the stage for everything that comes after it. What were you going to say, Miguel?
Well, now I don't want to say it because I want to save it.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, yeah, I mean, Miguel, you've seen The Godfather.
Love that movie.
You've seen The Godfather.
Yeah. It was super high when I watched it, but yeah, I've seen it.
Also, the pre-wedding scene is, you know what I mean? It's so good. It tells you so much about Don Corleone and how the world interacts with him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You come to me on my daughter's wedding asking for, you know what I'm saying? Oh, okay, that's an iconic scene.
Yeah, all of this, dark business going on in the background of this otherwise lovely occasion, Don Corleone swearing vengeance for this funeral, what do you call them? Caretakers.
Wedding.
Whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got all of these shitty things going on around this wonderful event. And in the Italian way, everybody's drunk on wine and dancing, singing old tunes and stuff like that. Everybody's giving these guys a big fat wad of cash and stuff, throwing it in a pillow sack, and yeah, it's just an iconic part of that movie. Yeah, so that's an obvious one to me anyway.
I was going to say one a second ago, but now to piggyback off of what you were saying, you were mentioning Godfather. I think the wedding scene in Goodfellas is also fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same vibes, but
it's a similar vibe. Right. Yeah, that's what kind of inspired me.
Goodfellas and also Casino. Casino has a pretty good one too.
Casino has a good wedding one. Yeah, I mean, these mobster weddings, dude. They're where it's at. I mean, a similar vibe is in Goodfellas. They do the whole procession where they give the couple the money in the envelopes. Yeah, and they have their first dance or whatever. And she's like, what about the bag? And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, the bag of money. And he's like, this is the safest place this could be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
No one is going to steal from this.
Everybody in the room is a criminal, but not that kind of criminal.
But
on the wedding day, there's an unspoken rule. Yeah. It's great.
And especially
all those traditions that shine through those kind of scenes. too.
Especially where you see the marriage goes. I think that's what's fun about this wedding episode is like
Casino, especially like Sharon Stone getting married to Robert De Niro, and she's already calling fucking James Woods on the side. Like,
have you ever seen Casino, Luis?
No, I haven't, but I'm going to because I know
Casino.
We got our ranking. Yeah,
I love Goodfellas. I watch that movie all the time. Casino is something that I watched for the first time in like the last year or two. Like, I was surprised at how long it took me to watch it, but it instantly is one of my favorites. Scorsese's. Like, it's a great movie.
Oh, okay.
It is really good. Yeah. Cool.
Luis, we came in hot with wedding ones.
Yeah,
Do you have one?
you guys. I'm glad you guys came in hot because when we brought this up, I was like, damn, I really don't know of like a good wedding scene. I honestly don't know. I don't have an answer for this. You guys, that's why
I have a list. Ed and I are ready to go.
You're ready to go. I know like general like movies. I have like general movies I like. I like wedding movies that I like, but I can't like lock down a scene. I don't remember. My memory is bad. Okay.
I got a wedding movie that I know you've seen. Everyone has seen. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, dude.
Yes.
Everyone, come on.
I love My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I completely overlooked that one, but I love that movie. It's a great
how could you, Ed? It is like classic wedding.
The men are the head, but the women are the neck. I was like,
I know.
My mom would say that to me all the time. She's like, I'm the neck. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I get it.
Yo, wedding movie. Oh. Okay, good.
How many of us have tried the Windex thing?
Oh.
On a pimple.
I'll be real honest. 0 times because I'm not stupid.
Yeah, I've never done that.
I definitely tried it.
Hang on, Ed. So give us real quick in My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
I want to say it works.
Yeah. The formula is put at the elbow in Windex or whatever boo-boo you have, and it'll work.
Yeah, like a pimple or whatever, and. Yeah,
I could see a pimple because it could like dry it out.
It was a pimple.
Why did you spray it? Because in the movie he puts his elbow in like a bowl of Windex, and now I'm just imagining you like spritzing yourself with Windex.
No. I would spray on my finger and then apply accordingly.
You see why that's hilarious, okay?
Yes.
Big Fat Greek Wedding is definitely in my top 5 for sure. I would say my number 1 that probably no one will pick. I don't know why this is like a one I watched a lot. But Father of the Bride, like for some reason, Father of the Bride and Father of the Bride Father of the Bride Part 2 is more about like
babies,
her babies, yes. But Martin Short's in it, and he's the wedding coordinator. And I don't know. It's just like a nice, like good time, cozy 90s like movie that I watched a lot.
That's what I was going to say about Big Fat Greek Wedding is I couldn't believe a wedding movie spawned so many sequels.
Okay, first off, me and Steven Escobar, big guest in our podcast.
Shout out.
We went to the movies and we saw a trailer for Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. We both turned to each other. We're like, "There's a third one?" Like. Where was the second one? We completely like missed the second one. So we're big Fat Greek Wedding fans. I guess we got to watch the second one. But go ahead. Sorry, I just
we're ready. No, that's my point. Is I can't believe that these movies spawn sequels.
There are so many wedding movies. I mean, you even have Julia Roberts dominating. with Best Man Wedding, Runaway Bride. I mean, come on.
I asked Kristen. Sorry, go ahead.
I asked Kristen earlier. I was like, brainstorm with me. We're talking wedding movies and things like that, and she just said Julia Roberts.
Yes, Julia Roberts.
I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a whole genre of wedding film I should be thinking about.
You guys know I watched my best friend's wedding for the first time recently.
Favorite movie ever?
Because Sarah. Yeah, no, but
was that the one that starts off with like they're singing "Going to the Chapel" and I'm gonna get married, like at the very beginning?
No, that is isn't that
Runaway Bride?
4 Weddings? Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen Runaway Bride. That's the one with the horse.
And the tennis shoes.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Richard Gere's in that movie, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Four Weddings and a Funeral, I have to give that a shout because it's probably my favorite wedding movie, but also my favorite wedding scene is the second wedding. So there are four weddings, as you could have guessed. So the first wedding, there's two people who meet at the first wedding, and the second wedding is their wedding. And their wedding, they have Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean and all of that. He is the vicar of their ceremony, and he fucks it up left and right. He messes up their names and stuff like that. He says, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Goat. Good witty humor, but also the best man speech is hilarious because it's this dope who just calls the groom's ex-girlfriend a cow. And then Hugh Grant kind of sneaks into a room to kind of get away from the crowd, and then the newlyweds come into that room and start fucking, and he's hiding in the closet waiting for them to finish, and they just keep going and going and going till finally he's just all right, I'm leaving. And as he leaves, he bumps into one of his ex-girlfriends who then breaks down crying in front of him. It's just one of those beautiful situational comedy scenes. And I mean, that whole movie is great moments. But that one's good.
Ed, can I tell you what I was? Can I tell you what I was going to say earlier? And I thought we were on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, an iconic wedding. One of the most charged weddings I've ever seen.
It's a
Game of Thrones.
Yes, the red wedding.
A red wedding.
Yeah.
But I actually wrote down the purple wedding too.
I wrote that too.
I'd like to talk about.
I wrote down the not as memorable, but the wedding between Sansa and Tyrion. Which was also just kind of a sad wedding, because I was trying to think what are some sad weddings? And of course Game of Thrones has them all.
They have them all.
Sad, angry.
I think that's pretty good. We'll talk Red Wedding just real quick. One of the most iconic of the whole show, right? That was where we learned. I mean, we had already previously learned, spoilers, main characters can die on Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the first big death, you go, oh, that's the shock. You know what I mean? That's the kind of death. And Red Wedding was when they told you, no, there's other people that can die too.
A whole room of people. A whole room of your favorite characters.
Just absolute stars of the show are now dead. Yeah. And we're only 3 seasons in. I mean, that was definitely a tough one. I remember that was seeing it for the first time. I remember Ed texting me being like, hey, buckle up, But Ed, I think that was a good juxtaposition on this sad wedding. I hadn't even thought about Tyrion and Sansa getting married and what that means for those characters.
Exactly. Yeah, it's significant. It happens before the purple wedding. It's sad. You feel bad for both of those characters. Maybe more so Sansa than anything. But but it's also very sweet and sincere. Tyrion in those moments really shines as just he's he acknowledges Sansa's position and just swears to actually just take care of her, Mm-hmm. Whereas then the purple wedding,
that was when I
purple wedding was just more satisfying.
That's what we all wanted to see.
I think that wedding between Tyrion and Sansa was a really eye-opening moment for me for that character, because it's he means well and isn't really a terrible person. He's
not the rest of the Lannisters, what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. And so I was okay, a lot of cool points for this guy right now after seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're talking HBO. A recent wedding that was also very sad was the Roy family, in Succession.
We got 2, didn't we?
Man.
Yeah,
It was a sweet moment for Connor.
Yes, that's what it is. It was a sweet moment where he said, "I'm going to make my own family," and they kind of came together in this,
and you never saw either one of them look happier.
Yeah,
together.
That was absolutely like in the midst of this like chaotic episode.
Yeah,
these characters that are kind of not sidelined, like story wise, but kind of sidelined by the other characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To give them their own purpose and to like for them to reclaim like who they are. That's a solid moment on that show. That's one of the greatest episodes.
Yeah, and it's also just very honest. They're just like, yeah, let's go through with it. Let's do it because these other people don't give a shit about us anyway.
They don't. They don't.
But like speaking of Succession, we got to talk about Shiv's wedding from season 1, which was fucking great. A lot of shit happening there. She like right before their wedding, I guess she's like basically telling Tom she wants an open relationship, but also kind of walks back on that, and her and Tom confronts the guy that she's been sleeping with and tells him to fuck off and stop drinking his wine and stuff like that.
I love
so
Tom.
many. Oh, you gotta love Tom. But yeah, so many good moments. That was like a well orchestrated, and having all of those people in the room, and then like the Roy's mother, the British one, she's going around
like instigating, like starting shit.
Starting shit, making fun of Tom's parents for telling everybody how much that they paid for the wine at the wedding.
Oh man!
So many good little side things going on. It's awesome.
If you're not watching Succession, you should be. Okay, it's over.
Catch up. It's over now.
We've talked about really heartwarming ones like Follow the Bride, Big Greek Wedding. And we talked about all these dramatic ones. I kind of want to pivot quickly to
let's go
comedies. There's a lot of like comedy wedding stuff.
I've got a few.
Are you disappointed about comedies in weddings?
No. I think a lot of what we have said are comedies. Like
there's a list. I'm ready to
comedy.
go.
I've got some too. Okay, all right, let's do it.
All right. Go. Yeah, I mean, Miguel, go for it. I've laid the carpet for you.
I've got a few right before me. I'll go ahead and I'll say a classic one. Okay, this is for the '90s TV crowd. Okay, so don't crucify me. But Friends has a lot of weddings. Specifically, Ross's character has a lot of weddings. I think one of the iconic weddings of that show is when Ross and Emily get married. They're in London. They're at the church that her parents got married in. He's like making this commitment to her. And the priest says, okay, repeat after me. And they get to Ross and they say, Ross, I take thee, Emily. And he says, I take thee, Rachel. And it's like the wedding moment of the show for Friends. Do you guys watch Friends?
No, I mean, I've watched a couple episodes, but I never really watched Friends.
Okay. So I'm speaking to a Friends crowd in this moment. Yeah. Okay. But
they're
that is a
car
huge,
right now. They're like, yes,
that is a huge moment where he is on the, and Rachel is, I want to say, I can't remember how that works. She was not invited to the wedding, but she shows up or something like that. There's some dynamic like that. And he ends up saying on the stand, I take thee, Rachel. And then they cut to black and they cut to like next week on or whatever. And he comes back and he's like, oh, I mean Emily or whatever. And it's a big pivotal moment for those characters. They later, Ross and Rachel, get married in Vegas drunkenly in a chapel by Elvis or something like that, which is the other Friends wedding episode I was going to talk about. Oh, I guess there's also Monica and Chandler getting married too. You guys should really watch Friends. I know the internet hates on Friends. I think it's a great show.
They really did. Everybody loved it, and then the internet turned on them, and they were like, "We hate Friends now."
I think if you're watching Frasier, you can watch Friends.
I know, actually, and Frasier has some weddings in there too.
It is,
that we got through.
And just reminded me of New Girl. They have a wedding in the apartment.
Oh yeah,
Schmidt and Cece's wedding.
Oh, very sweet. Yeah.
Schmidt gets stuck on a plane because he's trying to fly out and get Cece's mum to come. Gets stuck on the plane, so they do the whole wedding via Zoom or whatever, and then they have the actual wedding back at the apartment. Very sweet indeed.
Luis, did you have a comedy wedding?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would actually say something before. I know it's like obvious, but a really great way to kind of, I think they closed it out, right? What was that wedding at the end of at the office? Whose wedding was that? Was that Pam's? And no.
Pam and Jim had a wedding.
Was that the final finale? No.
No. That was Dwight.
No,
was Dwight
they
and
kept
Angela's.
Going.
That was Dwight and Angela's wedding, right? Because that's when what's his name came. Steve Carell came back, and he was like,
that was like one of the worst episodes. I swear to Christ. It was like,
no, the ones I was actually thinking about, like those, like kind of, I don't know, I would say college room classics of like Wedding Crashers, Bridesmaid, Hangover.
Wedding
Absolutely.
Wedding Crashers. Wedding Crashers is probably like one of the top ones. You got Bradley Cooper, you got Owen Wilson, you got Vince Vaughn, you got I mean, a ton of people. Christopher Walken. You have so many people like just running on.
You fucked me up saying Bradley Cooper because he was also in Hangover, which was a wedding movie. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I think Wedding Crashers was the first time I ever met Bradley Cooper in a movie.
Yeah.
I was like,
and who's this guy?
And look at him now.
Huge dick. Yeah, now he's like making Maestro, Academy Award winning movies, and he was.
Did you guys see 5 Year Engagement?
No.
With Jason Segel and Emily Blunt. You should, because it's the movie that made me fall in love with Emily Blunt. She is so good at that film.
Okay, well, just because you didn't love her in Devil Wears Prada doesn't mean I need to go see some other movie. Okay, like I immediately knew who Emily Blunt was. Okay,
I was just like, okay, yeah, she's all right. But no, she's adorable in 5 Year Long Engagement. She has great chemistry with Jason Segel, and that movie is pretty funny too. And the wedding at the end is actually very sweet. Chris Pratt and Alison Brie are also in that movie. A lot of funny people are in that movie. So you naysayers, it's a good one to check it out.
You know, there's a few I want to mention. You know, Parks and Rec, Leslie and Ben, Modern Family, Cam and Mitch.
Yeah.
But Ed, there's a wedding episode I want to talk to you about. Okay, because I know you've seen it.
Okay.
Maybe my favorite wedding content ever.
Ooh.
The UK classic hit Peep Show.
Peep Show. Oh! Okay, end of conversation. Peep Show, episode 6 of season 4.
Let's go, Ed. He's ready to go. Come on, Ed. Lay the scene.
By far the funniest fucking thing. Luis, you have to watch Peep Show.
Okay.
I almost don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it. No, I don't want to
spoil it. But this is like one of those episodes where, like, if I'm trying to get people to watch this show, I get them to watch this episode.
And it's absolutely one you can jump into because it's a very contained episode.
It's funny. I'm on IMDb right now.
IMDb rating.
And top rated episode, season 4, episode 6, Wedding is up there.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it.
I'm kind of proud of myself for getting that right. But
I honestly thought this show was like a what's it called? Like a sketch show. I didn't realize it was an actual like.
They do have a sketch show separately. Mitchell and Webb. Maybe that's what you're getting mixing up. But yeah, no, this is their sitcom that they had.
This is
fucking brilliant.
If you haven't seen Peep Show, it's this super weird comedy. Like only in the way that they film it. Like the camera is a character, so any given character you can jump into their POV. Of
it's
what's
like
happening in the scene.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So the character will turn to the camera and talk, but he's not talking to us, the audience. He's talking to whoever the character is, and that'll change. It can be a little
jarring, but it's kind of like that's the point. It's cringe comedy.
It's a cringe comedy, but man, the wedding episode. Olivia Colman, I love Olivia Colman. She's the girlfriend on that show.
That's who he's marrying,
and I don't want to say much more.
Yeah.
Okay, this is. Well, hey, you know, we of course
good shout, Miguel.
So many wedding episodes.
I worked on that
one. So many wedding movies, moments, shows, but of course, this is a Punch Drunk Mini. We can't go on forever.
Can I throw one more out there?
Throw one more out there. A little dessert.
Interrupt you.
Yeah.
One that stood out to me was Sam and Susie's wedding in Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh
yes, man!
They got Jason Schwartzman doing the ceremony.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And they're like, "Yes." "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Yeah." It's like, they're not hearing me. And they go, but it's like, it's short and sweet, but it's like the best kind of Wes Anderson wedding that you could have imagined.
Yeah.
But that one, sorry, rung out.
I'm glad you guys showed up. As I continue aging, I keep forgetting everything. So I don't remember any moments, but it's a great excuse to rewatch this stuff. Let us know at Punch Drunk Nerd. It's a cheap way to get engagement for stuff. Let us know in the comments down below. Cheap engagement. No, it's okay. We're all doing our part here.
Hang on, before we wrap up. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Luis, this episode's airing. Before you get married. I thought maybe, Ed, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but maybe we could say something nice about Luis.
You already did you already did that for my birthday.
I know, but it just dawned on me, like, we're doing it. We're doing it live. Okay. Let's just, I would love to say we're so excited. We're very happy. The audience, who gives a shit about them right now? Like, I just love you, Luis. Oh. And you and Sarah are some of our dearest and closest friends. And we said this kind of on your birthday, but I just can't believe how many people, and this has kind of felt like the theme of this year, how many people just love you guys and are so excited for you and cannot wait to celebrate with you and we just love you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. No, here. Whenever this drops, we will be in LA.
We're in California.
This will be happening, and we're so excited for you guys. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be fun just to have everybody hanging out, celebrating you guys.
It'll all be worth it.
I mean, how long have you guys been dating or together?
Dating? I mean,
just like the time span.
Long time.
About 12, 13 years.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, it's been a minute.
So if anything, this is just like solidifying the love that you guys have already been carrying this long. But
we know who you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Luis and Sarah. It always has been, Luis, and forever will be from here on.
We love you guys.
Do you guys know? Do you guys know I'm editing my own wedding video? I couldn't trust anybody else.
Of course you are. Of course you are.
I went to the videographer. I was like, okay, what are the shots? What are the cameras? How are we shooting this? All right. I want a close up here and I want to make sure.
They fucking hated you, to be honest. They went home then there and they were like, oh, baby, I got a client. Well, this shit's not going to work.
I was like, are you going to be there for the grand exit? It's like, no, that'll be, that might be a little extra. I was like, well, I'm going to need you to be there. That's the closing to my video. I can't just have it end. Dancing.
That'll be a little extra for you to be there till the end of it.
Okay,
go
it's
fuck yourself.
This is some insightful. Okay, everybody, thank you for listening.
Cut that one. Sorry, my bad.
No, we love it. Thank you, everybody. It's been me, Luis Gonzalez,
and Miguel Sanchez. You thought.
And until next time, what's a wedding quote? You're married. No, what?